Greetings, my name's Dwayne, and today I'm going to be making some staffs for my wizard gnomes. These are characters that I'm in the making of right now and just coming up with ideas to come along with them, to accessorize them. So I wanted to make some staffs, and since I'm going to be playing with making them today, I thought I would just hop on a video here, show you how I'm making them. I get a lot of people asking once they've seen them how I put them together. So I'm starting out with actually just sticks that I get from my backyard. I'm cutting them down roughly about 5 inches, looking about 5.5 inches. My gnomes that I'm using them with, I'm using a 6-inch cone. So I want something that I'm going to have feet on here, and it's going to come up to about shoulder length on the gnome, just a little bit higher there. So I'm working with a stick that I've cut down to roughly about 5 inches, somewhere between 5 and 6 inches. And it can be roughed up too. I love the rough look. I like the wood look. I can go with something thinner too, thinner stick on some of these, and I'm trying some thicker on these here. So just to give you an idea, I've seen like garden stakes too, where I can cut them down, but I'm just going with more of a natural wood look, and that's what I want to do. So we're going to put these aside for just a moment, and then I'm going to show you how I make my staffs here. Now, first thing I do is I pick out a stone. The stones I've gotten several different places. I can order off of Etsy, Amazon. Sometimes Michael's carries the stones. I've also gotten them through using different things that I've gotten from jewelry places, like from Hobby Lobby. So it's real nice to get a collection of these. There's about 20 of them on a strand, 20 to 24 on a strand. So different ways that I can come up with different stones that I can use for the tops of my staff there. So I'm just going to pick out a stone. Yeah, we're going to start out with a nice little white stone there. And I'm just going to attach it to the top here. Now, I just use my hot glue gun, add a dab of glue. And then just hold it on there for a moment. Now, that's not the only way I'm going to do it to, keep it there, but just to start out with, just to secure it a little bit there. And once I have that glued on there, I'm going to be using clay, Sculpey clay for most of my projects here and everything. The Sculpey clay, again, you can get it at Hobby Lobby. You can order online, again, Amazon or different craft stores. And I'm using it just to more of a way of not only just holding it on, but for decoration too. I want it to have more of an older look to my wands. And I'm just creating something that I can just wrap around and cover up that glue there, cover up the base. And I don't even have to just do much. I can run it up a little bit. I can run it down, however you want to do that, just to cover that little part up there. Show you here what else I do is with the clay, I use my molds. I make these leaves from clay molds. I have a simple mold here. Again, just something that I've gotten off of Amazon or I found in the stores. Also, bake shops carry molds. And I like these small leaves on here, so I'm going to use that. And I can use either my regular, just my soft Sculpey clay. This is baked clay that I'm going to bake. I can either use just the white color, which I use a lot for other projects and everything, so I'm using that just here now. I just fill in the mold. Or I've gotten other clays. These other clays come in different colors. You can either get them Sculpey, or there's other off brands too that some of the craft stores carry. And I can get them already colored. so I can use the colored ones. Now I'm using them for other projects too, so I'm trying to save my green right now. But if you don't want to have to paint, just go ahead and get them in the color. I mean, this one's only $1.59. They usually run anywhere from $1.50 to about $3 for the smaller packs there. And I'm just putting it into my mold here. And this is something I'm going to bake once I have it made here. And I'll make probably a good dozen or more of these at a time. Pull that out. And then what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be putting it on the staff, I'm going to round it. I'm not going to have it flat. I'm going to round it here. And that way when I bake it, it's going to have that curve to it. So just a little helpful hint there. That's how I make my leaves. Give them something in there. You can also purchase leaves, different styles here, different cloth ones. Let me see if I have some available here. I have some. Just trying to quickly grab out of my stash here. These I've picked up at different craft stores. These are fabric leaves. So I can use those. These are actually some plastic ones. I've used those on some of my gnomes too. Can also try just as far as greenery. If you pick up some floral stuff and cut that up there. So I got several different ideas here as far as leaves that I like to use and add to mine there. So if you don't want to work with the clay or you don't have the molds available, that's an option too, is to buy those. So once I've made these, I'll make it, like I said, a whole bunch of them at a time, because I know I'm going to be making several staffs today. And these I've painted actually. What I've done is put them in the oven. It's usually like 200 degrees for about 25 minutes. If you look on the instructions on the clay, it'll tell you somewhere, most of them tell you somewhere around 200, 250 degrees for about 25 minutes, half hour, just to bake them. I also do that, I put my staff in there with it. What I want to do is bake this clay that I put on there. And again, about 25 minutes, 200 degrees. And part of that too is I'm pulling these out of my yard, natural sticks. Anything I do as far as that with like pine cones, when I work with them with my gnomes, I like to bake them for a while, just in case there is any type of bugs that happen to gotten into the wood or anything like that too. So it bakes that on there. Let me get one here that I've already, this one I already did, I already baked. So I'm going to use some of the stuff I've already baked. I'm not going to take 20 minutes here putting that in the oven. So we're going to put that aside for just a moment, and we're going to grab one of them that I've already done, show you a couple, and then I paint it. Again, either I'm using the green clay or I paint it. So once I've done that, once I've got them baked off there, I have these beautiful leaves that I can add. Now, before I do that, before I put my leaves on, I've gotten something, actually I got this from Hobby Lobby. Again, it's something you can order online. These are called grapevine wire. They come in several different colors. You have the dark brown, you have a lighter brown. There's also a green if you want to go with a green that you're not adding any painting with. I use the dark brown for a lot of my different projects that I use. It says they're great for wreaths, but they're also great for my gnomes, for just an outdoor look to them. So I'm going to grab a hold of, there it is. And we're going to take this, grab my grapevine wire. Make sure you have wire cutters handy. And I just start down at the bottom, wrap it around. And there's no right or wrong. There's no how many times you have to do it or how you want to do it. If you want to crisscross, if you want to do it small, however you want to wrap around. And I just simply wrap that up to the top. can go down a little bit or crisscross, give it a little bit more up top there. And then some point grab my wire cutters. We're going to cut that right off on there. So I like to give it a little bit of a look up here too, where it's going to show a little bit more, like I said, a crisscross, some character to it. But now I got my wire on there, and we're just going to decorate. I can pick out different leaves. Other thing is too, when I'm putting on the gem there, I can put something like this with one of my leaves up top here. Just a little character look. I can put it down here at the bottom. See how it's rounded? It goes on there real well. So I'm going to glue it right onto there. Yeah, it didn't mean as much for this to be as an instructional video as much as me just working on them. And I said, well, if I'm working on my staffs today, might as well do a little video, show you how I do that. Get some together and give you ideas too. That's the main thing, is just give you some ideas, putting together however you want to do it. From here, I decorate just picking out different leaves, different directions, putting them on there. So just to give you an idea as far as materials, of course, the wire, the wood. I use the clay leaves, and then also paint. I'd like to have some glitter paint, metallic paint, because we're going to be adding that in a moment here. Let's see if we can alternate here a little bit. Try something a little bit different here. Oh, and all sorts of gems too. Just either the stones or anything that I keep in my jewelry box. I have a big box of just all my jewelry pieces that I like to have to go through every time I'm making something to pick out. And again, I'm just gluing my leaves on there. I'm gonna pick another one. And I paint both sides. If I'm not using the green clay, I'm just gonna paint both sides just in case it gives it more of a finished look. If somebody's gonna turn my staff over, I want it to be able to be seen. Plus we're gonna be covering with a little bit more gold and silver. I like to have a little bit of standout on my leaves. And I pick spots now to put stuff. As I said, I'm going to use gems. I'm going to use stones. I'm going to go back and grab some of just anything that I have. Some little character here. Ooh, I got a little dragonfly I can put together. Put him up top here if I want. Let's see what I got sitting around here. Got lots of little pieces here. Also got keys. I love these old keys. I pick these up almost anytime I see them in anywhere. I'll pick up keys of all different sizes. I might put a key on one of the ones I'm making today. So we'll look at putting keys on here. As I said, I'd like to put other stones on here too. See what I have. Maybe I'll go with another clear stone to go with up there. Put that on the staff. As I said, I'm just getting some ideas. I'm putting some things together. Just going to be doing a number of the staffs today to play with different gnomes. We'll put some glue on you. So there is no right or wrong. There is no has to be in a certain spot. We're creating just to have fun. You know, as I said, just trying to give you some ideas here of things to do. I put a little dragon. Other than the dragonfly, I had a dragon that I put up there on one of mine earlier. I'm going to pick out this. Just a little design there. I got a bigger one. Let me see if I got a bigger one. There we go. We're just gonna. So all it is gluing on, having some fun, just taking things, as I said, out of my little, off of my jewelry here. Where's? And this is again from another just bracelet that I was looking and I took apart, took some pieces off, and I was using them on one of my gnomes and just have leftover pieces. I'm going to save the keys. I'm going to use those on maybe another one here. Just make one special looking with the keys. And then once I have a couple of different things on there, and unfortunately, this is how my table starts to look. Once I start working on something, even if I'm working on a gnome, I do this. I just throw everything on my table. It gives me some ideas and just keep looking at different things and see what I can use. I'm going to grab, this is metallic paint. I have gold and silver. I also have glitter paint here because I want to put some shine into this. Grab a brush here. And again, there's no right or wrong. And I could put some into I just want to put some touches. It's more like a dry brush on here. And a lot of it's just to give it some sort of shine to it. I don't do the backside as much. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more green in there too. The vines, since I used the brown vine, I like having some green on my vine. And I'm just, again, acrylic paints. Nothing special. Some of these paints I've picked up at the Dollar Tree. Some of them I've picked up Hobby Lobby or craft stores. So whatever acrylic paints I have on hand. And I'm just gonna, again, just adding little touches. Little things. Not trying to be all fancy with it. Make sure I don't get on the stone there though. And just getting it a little bit into that. I love the grapevine wire there, how it has pieces that just hang out. Again, giving it more of a natural woodsy look. There we go. That's what I want to do, is get that, get some color on that. I also like the bronze. I like bronze usually versus the silver or the gold as far as my trinkets there. So we add a little green woodsy look there. Give me some silver. As I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just having fun, creating, and I'll sit down and do anywhere 6 to 10 of these at a time. So it gives me just some creativity if I get something in mind going on, or if I want to cover something up and I, don't like something. I have no problem with that, adding, redoing it. I did a pair of gnome shoes here recently that I must have painted 8 different times before I liked the final, to use with the gnome. And as I said, these are going to be for some of my wizard gnomes that I'm creating. So I'm hoping to, once I get things together, get the staffs together, get the shoes together, and get all the pattern really worked out the way I like it, I want to create something to show off the wizard gnomes too with their staffs. And so much of it is the accessorizing them right now that really adds to them. And just to really make it sparkle more up top here. Show off that stone a bit more. As I said, the green I'm just highlighting. As I said, trying to put a little bit of gold, trying to put some silver into my leaves. And that's basically how I'm going to be making my staffs. I pick out my stone. I got some nice leaves put together there. This is a beautiful amethyst that I have. I've got a couple of different other gnomes that I'm working on that I want to use to put in here. This is another one I'm in the process of creating right now. Actually working with leather right now, leather and suede. Having some fun trying to put that together and seeing how I can work some different ways in there. But that's the idea of making a staff. I'm going to be working on more today, just putting them together, maybe post later on as far as how they look, how they come out and everything. But just trying to give you some ideas, creative ideas, just playing along here. This is how I put them together, and just something simple there just to give you some ideas to accessorize your gnomes. Thank you.